So we're going to hear from the four groups now as they present their output, both the output, whether it's HTML or Word or PDF, and the RMD document. Okay, so group number 2, you have the floor. You may start now.
Sir, kita po naman yung screen, di ba?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay, sir. So, our group decided to do a debt-to-asset ratio analysis of the media industry of the Philippines, po, sir. So, namely, we took a hold of all the media industry competitors, namely ABS-CBN Corporation, Globe, GMA, Manila Bulletin, Manila Broadcasting, and last but not least, PLDT po. Now, we chose to do debt-to-asset ratio because it is helpful in determining the financial position of the company with regards to its financial obligations po. And it helps us determine the risk of the company, whether it's managing its financials properly to meet its obligations po, sir. So as you can see in the code, we started off with just a background, like introduction basically, and then we added certain questions to answer whoever has a whoever's reading the text po. And then we also included how to calculate the debt to asset ratio po. So basically we compiled all the liabilities. We collected the data of all companies' total liabilities and total equity in order to calculate for debt to assets. So in the code, you can see we also inputted the formula on how to get the industry average, which is the mean of the sum of total liabilities over the sum of total liabilities and total equity po. And we also provided a table to specify whose is whose. And as you can see in the code, we also created a table just to present the data, as well as created a code for the formulas po to solve for the debt to asset ratios, as well as the mean po, or the industry average. And we also were able to plot a bar graph po, sir, to show each company's debt to asset ratio and have a comparison to the mean below, which is 0.607 po. Meaning the mean is the industry average and each company's corresponding is either equal to or higher or even lower. So in the bar graph, it's clear that GMA 7 and Manila Bulletin po is one of the two leaders who have the lowest debt to asset ratio po. And the highest is Globe and PLDT Telecom po.
Tanggalin mo na lang po, baka mapagod ka.
Sorry, sir.
Tanggalin mo na lang po, kasi you're addressing
okay.
also the whole class. Mapapagod ka yan sa po. No?
Yes, sir. And you can see that we also gave a analysis at the end to refer to what the data means. So as you can see, PLDT has the highest debt ratio, meaning that PLDT and Globe mainly are, they basically have a lot of obligations in order to run their business. So marami po silang debt rather than, they have a lot of maybe accounts receivable as well. And it also gives us a comparison. So basically the industry average allows us to determine how well the other competitors are doing with regards to the industry itself. So yeah, so Globe and Telecom, PLDT are not the best performers in that aspect.
Sorry, let me just interrupt. Accounts receivable, you mentioned a while ago.
Yes, sir. But that's not part of the report, but that's just like side knowledge po, sir.
Bakit ano? Why does it have to be accounts receivable?
Because, sir, I actually found out from my accounting teacher before that when it comes to PLDT or Globe, a lot of people don't pay their bills on time po.
Okay.
So as a result, there's a delay in payments and yun nga, sir, like when it comes to telecom providers, sir, their payments are after the subscription po. So if you're gonna start your subscription now, you can pay maybe a month later, 2 months later. So medyo na-delay sila dun.
Yeah, but do you, kasi sabi mo kanina, parang you're guessing, you're speculating. But do you have
it's not more of speculation, sir. It's more of just like not even speculation, more of just actual knowledge. Po.
Kasi you're not presenting here your balance sheet, di ba? Your asset side. So
Actually, sir, yung assets. Okay, okay, sir. Yeah. I understand.
kasi
Pero
sinabi
yeah,
mo,
yes, sir.
you said parang in the context of probably maraming accounts receivable, you don't have actually to speculate on that kasi mayroon namang balance sheet, mayroon namang asset side. Anyway, so
Actually, sir, yeah.
comment ko lang 'yon. Oo.
We added naman po yung link for the balance sheets here, sir.
Okay.
So
Sige.
all of our references include but it's not included po sa HTML. It's only included in the coding po.
Okay, sige, please continue.
Actually, sir, that's it so far.
Presentation, group number 2.
Sir?
Is that your presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you, group number 2. Let's give a big hand to group number 2. Okay, so they tackle debt to asset. Paki-flash pa nga yung ano. Yung plot nito generated by the plot function, ano?
Bar plot po, sir.
Bar
Yes.
plot. Okay, could you go up pa dun sa ano? Go up pa dun sa first few page, first part ng output nyo yung sa HTML.
Oh, sa HTML.
So, ang kulang nyo dito, hindi kayo naglagay ng images, no?
Sir, we were actually thinking of putting images both, pero we didn't know what exactly to put. Because we were thinking we could put the image of the formula, pero we were able to include the Greek symbols na po.
Pwede namang yung logo nila, di ba?
Pwede naman po, sir.
So, ano pa? Walang image, tapos, did you use the reference to the URL sa text nyo?
What do you mean po, sir?
Di ba you're required to sa text isasama niyo yung yung link, yung URL ng any site,
ano po, sir?
any reference.
Sir, it's in the code po. Wala po siya sa HTML. Ito po, sir, all the references, yung links ng PSC statements po, financial statements.
Pero as text yan eh. Di ba when you, hindi siya, you cannot, hindi siya, call this, hindi siya clickable.
We can include it naman po, sir. If
I'm just commenting on your work, no? So dapat
sir,
ginawa.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to see the links in the HTML or sa code lang po.
Nasa instructions yun. I said in the instructions, ilagay niyo yung sa R Markdown, dapat nakalagay yung may portions doon na clickable when you click that sa R Markdown.
So dito mismo sa code.
Oh,
sir?
yes. Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
Pero does this not count, sir? The reference.
Hindi naman clickable yan eh.
Oh.
It's just a text, no? Kasi paano, guys, everyone, paano natin ilalagay yung i-refer yung isang URL sa R Markdown? Di ba may parenthesis, tapos open and close parenthesis yung URL mismo. And inside the parenthesis, you can write there a name, kunyari, let's say FS ABS. And then ilalagay mo sa open and close parenthesis yung link dun sa financial statements ng ABS. So that's how you make that accessible dun sa R Markdown mo and then also dun sa HTML. Okay, anyway, so yun ang finance naman yung yung ginawa nyo. Although may kulang-kulang dun sa required, walang image, walang link dun sa sa URL. And then naman kayo, tinako yung formula sa baba. How did you do this, yung X bar? Is that an image? Ano ba yan? formula ba siya sa R Markdown?
No po, sir. Text lang.
Tingnan ko nga. Okay. This one you could have used yung formula natin sa yung dollar, no? You could have used the sum. Okay, kasi kayang-kaya magawa ng dollar yan. Okay? And then pati yung X bar o yung U, it could have been done also using the, as per instructions, yung formula na ginagamit. Okay? So, all right, thank you so much, group number 2. So, let's hear it this time from group number 3.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sir. I'll share lang po. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So, for our
Please,
report...
please introduce your group members.
Yes, sir. So, my name is Inigo de Guzman. I'm with Mico del Pilar and Meg Mayo. And we're here to report about capital budgeting, specifically the net present value. So, first off, capital budgeting is a process that companies or businesses use to evaluate potential major projects or investments. So these projects can be like a new plant or new products. So they use this method to determine whether or not they should invest their money, if it's profitable or not. So for this one, the code is pretty straightforward. We added this NBSP code for spacing, and then the bold and the headers. So next is NPV. NPV is the difference. Sir?
Sorry, Inigo, for the benefit of your classmates, what does that code do? Yung and NBSP?
Oh, okay. So I searched po kasi when we were doing the code, we searched for how to add spaces kasi I noticed na medyo parang cramped up yung mga each line of text, each paragraph, I mean. So we added this lang para magkaroon ng onting space para mas presentable tignan.
Okay.
So yun, that's what it does lang basically. So NPV, it's a difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows over a period of time. So this is one of the widely used methods in capital budgeting. So for this one, this is the formula that we can use. RT over the summation of R sub T over 1 plus I raised to T, where R is the net cash inflow minus outflows, and I is the discount rate or the interest rate, and T is the number of time periods. So for this formula, we just used this line for the mathematical equations.
For the benefit of your classmates, kindly explain that in dollar.
Okay, so for the dollar, this basically creates a specific parang equation line for mathematical equations, and then backslash sum is the ano lang, what do you call this? Summation. Yeah, summation. Underscore T is equal to 1, which is the lower part, raised to N, which is the upper part. And then for the content naman of the summation, it's just backslash frac since it's a fraction. And then the numerator is the R underscore T for a subscript. And then another set of bracket is the denominator, 1 plus I raised to T. And then you end it with another couple of dollar signs, and it makes it produces this line of mathematical equations.
If it's only $1, what will happen?
If it's only $1, it's gonna become parang inline lang
Inline lang siya. Dun sa line ng ano mismo, no?
ng text po.
Ng text. Oh.
So we decided to use double para mas malaki.
Okay.
And then for this, just standard text and like bold lang. And then this is another way computing the formula. TVECF minus TVIC is basically today's value of expected cash flows minus today's value of invested cash. So this is purely mathematical. So in practical terms, what does the NPV tell us? Basically, what you want as a company is a positive value, positive NPV, because positive net present value means that the project or investment is profitable, and conversely, a negative value will yield a net loss. Therefore, will tell the company not to invest in that project. So, may I call on Miko for this next part?
So here's an example to illustrate the concepts. Suppose company XYZ is considering a capital investment that costs 250,000 pesos and provides annual net cash flows of 100,000 pesos for 5 years. The firm's required rate of return is 15%. Determine whether or not the company should invest in the project. So using the formula, PV is equal to 100,000 over 1 plus 15% raised to T, where T is the number of time periods. So we could see on the table, year 0 will have a negative balance of 250,000 pesos since this is the investment made by the company. So this is the cash outflow. And then from years 1 to 5, we will have a positive balance of 100,000 pesos from the annual net cash flow. Then, so using the formula, we will get the present value of each year. And by adding all of those values together, we will get the net present value. So since the value is positive, so the total would be the 85,216. So since the value is positive in respect to the required rate of return of 15%, this means that the company should invest in the project. And lastly, we could also see below the computations used to compute for PV and NPV. So
for this part, we used the Verizon Communications Incorporated. So Verizon is one of the world's leading providers of communications, information, and entertainment products. The company Verizon offers voice, data, and video services that are committed to meet their users' demands. The company has almost 135,000 employees as of July 2020. And in order to compete with the market, Verizon offers high-performing networks and they ensure that they deliver their customers' wants and needs. So below the description is the picture of the stock performance graph. And this graph shows if you invested $100 at the start of 2014, and it shows how much your money will grow with the next 6 years. And below that picture is the stock trends from March 16 to March 12, 2021. And as you can see that the table refers to the performance growth of the company itself.
So image siyang image siyang yung sa Verizon.
Yes, sir, images po.
Where is that in your code?
This one, sir. Ito po
Yeah.
yung for the second one.
Okay, so
This
did you
for the
also
first.
upload that for the benefit of your classmates so that they can follow that?
Yes, sir. I uploaded the 2 pictures po.
Yung JPEG
Sa,
yan. But would it have been possible also to link it to the image in the internet?
oh, yes, sir. Pwede po. Pero
What
we
would have
use,
been the difference?
if we link the site mismo, sir.
Yeah, in site mismo.
Well,
What would have been the difference in the code? Kasi ito, stockchart.jpg, no? Ibig sabihin, this was
It was
access
corrected.
dun sa ano nyo, sa working directory, di ba?
yes, sir.
Okay. Pero kung kunyari, diretso sa ano sa internet,
Oh, yeah.
what would have been the difference?
Well, the difference would be fairly simple lang. Like, we used a link code dito, sir. This
Mhm.
one. So it's just gonna look like this.
Yeah, okay. Walang ano. So walang anong difference siya? Yung isa may exclamation point, di ba?
Ah, yes, sir. May exclamation po pala.
Yung isa wala, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything more?
That's it, sir. And then, ano pala, we added a reference lang. We added our bibliography lines sa YAML.
Okay.
And then we uploaded the reference.bib sa
Okay,
Google
yeah.
Drive. And then that's it, sir.
Okay,
For
that's
our
good,
report.
guys. So they use the bib function. Okay, pakipasok nga ulit yung references. Okay, so
This one,
this is
sir?
yung sa that's a text file, no?
Yes,
That's
sir.
a text file. Tapos ginamit nila yan dun sa YAML, no? Pakita nyo nga yung YAML ulit. So where is that in your YAML?
This one, sir.
Yan, yung references.bib, which is a text file which can be found dito, no? May, yung reference.bib na yan, text file na yan, dahil linagay nila dito that the bibliography should refer to this references.bib. Guys, nakuha niyo yan? That's what the group number 3 did. Tapos yung references nyo, may you see the output yung sa HTML. Sa HTML dito sa left side.
This one, sir.
Yes, baba mo nga. Is that the only reference?
Yeah, those 3 lang, sir.
So baba. Hindi. Go down. Sa dulo ng references.
Ito na yun, sir.
Ito na, isa lang.
Ito pong 3.
Hmm.
Hindi na po namin masyadong naayos since
Oo, kailangan APA format ha. Kailangan kung nasa internet yan, kailangan nakalagay yung URL, no? So,
yes, sir.
guys, be sure that you do that kasi sa mga thesis later on, kailangan APA format yung references. And then yung references yung dapat nakalink yan dun sa text. Dapat may inattribute niyan sa text. So do not put references which we did not use in your text. So dapat
This is what we did.
may portion dyan na dapat nakalagay yung reference na yon.
This one, sir. We added this one. Sa dulo lang.
Okay.
I don't know if it's enough though.
Okay, so Verizon no dates nasa ilalim naman yan. No?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. All right. Thank you so much. Group number 3. It's a
Thank you, sir.
comprehensive report. Thank you so much. Kompleto siya. Okay. Finance concept. Tapos you made use of all the required elements of your R Markdown, and even you added more. No? Although sana, what could have been really much better is instead of computing, you could have also computed for the NPV using FinCal, no? Kasi may package na FinCal. Okay, although that's over and above na naman yun, no? You could have easily computed for the NPV using the function NPV dun sa package na FinCal. But that's just for information of the
Okay,
group
sir.
and of everybody. Okay, once again, thank you so much for group number 3. Let's
sir.
hear it from group number 1. Okay, thank you. Group number 1, you ready? Introduce yourselves, and next time guys, sa yamin, ilagay nyo kung sino, yung mga names, para alam natin kung sino yung gumawa niyan.
Sir, yung names ko nandito sa at
Okay.
the bottom of the
Sige,
table
sige.
of
Okay, sige.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmates. We're Group 1, and we tackled on personal finance, specifically budgeting. So, starting off, what is personal finance? So, according to Kenton 2021, it is a term covering an individual's money as well as saving and investing. This encompasses several things, namely budgeting, banking, insurances, mortgages, investments, retirement planning, and tax and estate planning. The term often refers to the industry providing financial services to individuals and households and advising them on various financial opportunities. Additionally, there are 3 types of personal financing principles that will be helpful in understanding how to manage personal finances, namely prioritization, assessment, and restraint. So personal finance is considered important because it gives the individual direction with regards to their own finances. It keeps us from overspending and losing money. And nowadays, income and money is harder to come by, and accompanied by the spike of prices of goods and services, it has put the pressure on individuals to spend money wisely. Which brings us to one of the very important components of a successful personal financial plan, which is budgeting. In order to manage your income and money efficiently, devising a budget is a must.
Now we'll move on to budgeting. Budgeting, a budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified future period of time and usually compiled and reevaluated on a periodic basis. A budget is basically a financial plan for a defined period. In order to contextualize the situation, we use the average income and expenditures of Filipino households. Our first formula is the application of mean. The formula is mu is equals to the sum of x over n, where x is the income of a household and n is the total number of households. Our second formula is the standard deviation formula. I can't really explain that. Di ako maano sa maths masyado. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
So the first table is the average annual family and income expenditure by family size and income class and by region in 2018. The region with the highest income is NCR with 1.5 million annual income, while the lowest is autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao with 105,000. This is the mean for the mean of income is 456,000 when 146,000. The standard deviation is 434 and 892,000. For our expenditures, the average is 347,393, while the standard deviation is 352,000 and 346. Next yung graph.
Sorry, may question lang ako.
Yes, sir.
Yung standard deviation, was this taken from from your source, or did you compute for it?
Computed po siya, sir.
Sir, no, I use a package. So I use the summarize function to get the
dplyr yan. Okay, so that's coming from the dplyr package. So medyo doubtful lang ako sa sa value ng standard deviation. Parang masyadong malaki, greater than the average. Almost as high as the average. Anyway, sige, nagano lang ako. And one running comment na lang guys para kasi baka makalimutan ko. Kindly go up to the formula. Okay. One disadvantage of just copying the image is unang-una, you're not sure of the font. Tingnan yung font ng min, hindi mo siya masyadong hindi siya masyadong clear kasi kung ang pinagkukuhaan niyo na image is yung ano niya, yung resolution niya is very low. So lalabas siya dun sa ano yun na very low siya. Tingnan niyo may disparity yung standard deviation at saka yung ano yung mean. Yung mean medyo hindi maganda yung resolution. Yung standard deviation okay lang. But you could have used the function yung pinakita ng group number 3 kanina yung $, to easily generate this formula. Okay? So siguro next time pag ganyan, i-formula niyo na lang yan kasi mas maganda yung ano, mas balanced siya, pati yung size niya, mas balanced dun sa text nyo. Kasi dito you can see that it's so difficult to pwede naman ma-adjust yung size yan, pero pag ina-adjust kasi yung size, lalo na pag image, ano lang yan, image file, you're not sure about the resolution. Yun lang, comment lang, sige. Okay, please proceed.
So the average income per income class is on this graph. So we used a data frame in order to plot a bar plot. The average expenditure is the following. There's not much change between the two, but as you can see, the lower income classes have less than half of the wealthiest income class. So this is the graph for average income and average expenditure. The third graph shows the relationship between the income class and average income. Numbers are written in the thousands place, and looking at the previous graph, it is clear that there is a direct relationship between the two. So as the household income increases, the expenditure also increases. So the average of an annual Filipino family was 313,000 pesos for the year ended 2018, while their annual expenditures were 239,000 pesos in comparison. So this means that the average Filipino family has a annual savings of 75,000 pesos. So from their income, 79% of it goes to annual expenses and 20% of it goes to annual savings. It is important to note that despite following the 50-30-20 rule as a whole, not all income classes are able to save as much as the average family. As we can see on the tables, the income classes that are that have a lower class than 59,000 pesos will only have a total annual savings amounting to 1,000 pesos.
How did you generate that table?
Sir, it was from
code.
the data frame po. Ito po.
Okay.
And I printed again analysis part.
So nag-generate kayo ng data frame. Saan yung code yun?
Ito po yun.
Okay, what's a data frame?
It's a set of classes.
Ano no? Anyone from group number 1? Ano yung data frame?
Sir, yung may 2 variables na ano.
First, it's what? It's a data, ano siya?
Table.
Data structure, di ba? Guys, yung lesson natin, di ba? Iba't ibang klaseng data structure. May vector, may list. Isa yung data frame. Can you highlight yung yung code dyan? Yan. Okay. Average income, no? Paki-explain kung ano yan kasi that's really our lesson. No? Could you kindly explain what that is? Paki-explain yung code yan, average income.
Okay. So sir, I made a vector po out of characters, which is the income classes. And then the second. po
Okay,
is
Nung simula mo na average income, what's that about?
it's the title of the data frame.
So you're creating an object, no?
Yes.
Object called data frame, okay? Object called average income. Tapos you're coercing it into what?
I am storing to the object into the data frame.
Okay, so
The-
data
that-
frame siya, no structure. Ano laman ng data frame nyo?
Ito po, yung average income.
Hindi. May laman yung data frame nyo, di ba? Dalawa yung laman niya. Ano-ano?
Through yung
Yung-
income class tsaka income.
Yan, income class at saka income. Di ba? Yun yung dalawang variables na laman data frame nyo. Ano yung una? Ano yung income class?
Sa character variable.
Character siya, no? Kasi may coach kayo, no? So ilang yung laman ng ng income class?
7. Ay, 6 po.
6, di ba? Tapos yung income, ilan yung laman? Ilang observations?
6 rin.
Okay, 6. Asan yung yan? Asan yung table na yan? Asan yung data frame yan? Did you plot that? Did you generate? Did you print that?
I printed it here on the analysis.
Saan? Yung sa output nyo, sa output mismo. Pakita nyo. Yan. Okay? That's it. Yung dalawang columns siya, no? Income class, which is a character vector. Tapos si income, which is a numeric vector, di ba? Di ba kasi pag data frame, pwedeng, can take any data type, di ba? So, ganun din yung isa, which is your average expenditure. Okay, sige, please continue.
So, as you can view on the table, income classes that have lower than 9,000 will only have a total annual saving of 1,000 pesos. And income classes below 99,000 pesos will have savings amounting to 5,000 pesos. So, according to the PSA, the poverty threshold was 772,000 pesos, which is a monthly income of 10,481 pesos, which means that 4 of these classes are in the poverty threshold. Meanwhile, the wealthiest income class in the country is able to save up to 34% of their annual income. The average income and expenditure bar plots presented earlier outline the disparity between the poor and the rich. So, next person.
So after the analysis, you want to help the Filipinos on how to budget. So first is you have to identify your income sources and expenses, or your cash flows and inflows. Once you identify your main source of income and expense, you should keep track of it to avoid an expense in cash outflows. Next is you have to categorize your expenses, whether it's a fixed expense or or variable expense, more like your wants or your needs. Examples of fixed expenses are insurance, internet plan, and rent, while examples of variable expenses are your wants, which are online purchases, traveling, food. Some expenses are non-negotiable, so we have to put them under fixed expenses. A budgeting technique that we should adopt is the 50-30-20 rule. This model was pioneered by US Senator Elizabeth Warren. 50% of your income should go to necessities like health insurance, housing, and food. 30% should cover the wants like dinner out, entertainment purposes, and 20% should be set aside for savings and investment. Next. And we put a pie chart to to show how the 50-30-20 model works. Next is you have to set
Yung pie chart, kinapin nyo lang ba? Asa yung code ng pie chart? Okay. Gumawa kayo ng ano. Okay. Okay, use the pie function.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Then next is you have to set realistic goals or have an idea of what you want your finances to be like after a certain period of time. Then budgeting for low income household is like if your income is too low, expenses should be tracked keenly. Whichever expenses seems unnecessary should either be cut off or decreased in order to adjust to the fixed costs. Next. When you are in imminent risk, the best thing to do is save. Instead of spending it on wants, the better option is to save so that you may grow your money despite having low income and being on a tight budget. Yun lang, sir. Tapos references na yung next.
Yung mga references ba, ginamit nyo sa taas? Was this used in your text? So yung mga references dapat laging ginagamit sa taas. Otherwise, do not put references which you did not refer to in your text. So for example, you have 4 references there. I expect to see that in your text. So, okay, thank you so much. Group number 1, pretty comprehensive. So na-complete they except for the formula, hindi kayo gumamit ng formula na yung naka-equation line mismo, but the rest, ginamit nyo naman. Yung comment ko kanina, I hope you remember that pag gagawa kayo ng formula, it's better not to copy the formula, not to save it as an image. Kasi kahit na may mga complex na formulas, guys, sa math, kayang-kaya na yan sa ano. It can easily be done with our Markdown. Okay, so let's give group 1 a big hand. Thank you so much. So let's now hear it from group number 4.
Hello, sir. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so here's our report. It's about financial ratios, more specifically the current ratio. So what we did was look at the data of Ayala and compared it to the industry average. So we placed a short explanation on what a current ratio is, and then a short background on Ayala Corporation here. And then we made a table for the financial data for Ayala for the past 5 years and the current ratios of Ayala for the past 5 years, and then compared it to the industry average, which is 0.75. So for the codes, here's what we have. This is the code for the image that we were able to place in the report, and then here are the ones for the tables.
Finish?
Yes, sir.
Yun na yun. Daming daming elements na hindi niyo kinumpleto. Wala kayong attribution diyan. You didn't refer to the net for reference. Wala kayong formulas diyan. Did you create table? Asan yung tables niyo?
Sir, this one, the tables.
Asan yung table diyan?
Sir, in the report, here, sir.
print out lang yan ng ano, it's not a table really. No? Kasi iba pag print out niyo yung ano, you just created the data frame, tapos meron siyang financials, okay? Financials, tapos lang yung 1, 2. And then you have the object 2020, 2019, 2018. So print out yun lang yung data frame. No? It's not really printing it as a table. Okay, so medyo maraming kulang to guys. Ha? Next time, pag may ano, take note of the instructions and follow the instructions. Okay, so thank you so much, group number 4. I'm going to create an assignment in Canvas. So kindly upload, although I've seen you upload already the files, paki-upload nyo ulit dun sa ano. Siyempre yung group members, no, pareho lang kayong i-upload. Kasi doon ko ibibigay yung mga grades sa sa presentation, no? So that I can record it there so that you can see the rate or the grade that you have. Okay, may I request you now to please open your R. Let's continue working on the file that we were working on last time. Oops. Yung data structure natin. Okay, we're still with the data structures. Okay, I posted, guys, a video. Did you see the video, guys? Sa modules natin. Nakita niyo ba yung video na pinost ko?
I haven't checked, sir.
Okay, so just to inform the group. So nasa modules, no? Modules. So this one, ito 2 videos on matrix operations. May I request you to please watch this if I open this. Dalawang videos to na this is a recording of doing matrix operations in Excel. Now, we won't have time to discuss this anymore. So paki-ano na lang, asynchronous na lang to, no? So these are my prior recordings. The Excel file also is, I have uploaded this also in Excel file na to. So ito video 1, a matrix operations in Excel. Video 2, continuation lang. No? Review and a bit of the matrix operations in R. So it's imperative, guys, that you watch this kasi mas maintindihan natin yung discussion natin sa matrix if you watch these videos. Okay, so let's open the file again. This is the one we were working on. So this means, guys, that by next meeting, we'll start learning ggplot 2. So we'll quickly just have a brief review of matrix in R. Okay, so where is that? Just to show you the modules again. So pakinood na lang, guys, ha? Tapos please pakisundan. The Excel file is, where's the Excel file? Wala ba? Okay, sorry, I don't think I was able to. Okay, sorry, I wasn't able to post it. I'm going to post it after class, yung Excel file, because that's what you'll need in order to follow through with the videos dito sa 2 videos na to. So after class, I'll immediately post it so that you can refer to it and follow along using that Excel file. So it's all about, it's talking about matrix operations using Excel, but in our discussion, we're going to use matrix operations in R. So quick review, guys. We were able to discuss the yung data structure and data frames, which almost all of you used in your presentation. Have we finished yung data structure, data frame? Ano nga, guys? Pakisagot nga kung natapos natin itong data frame. Paki-chat na lang kung pwede. Natapos ba natin yun, yung data frame?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my apologies guys kasi minsan naghahalo-halo na yung 3 sections kasi ito. Minsan I should be stating here kung ano yung natapos natin. Okay, so very quickly guys, ang data frame, we know that it's a 2 or more dimensional, two-dimensional array-like structure. Two-dimensional kasi 1 horizontal, 1 vertical. So row by column. So it's a 2-dimensional array which can contain different data types. So pwede siyang numeric, pwede siyang character, pwede siyang integer, etc. What are the requirements, guys? Dapat the column name should be non-empty. So there should be a variable name for each column. Hindi pa pwedeng blanco yung variable name. Okay, the row name should be unique. The data can be numeric, factor, character, etc. Can be date. No? Each column should contain the same number of data items. Kunyari, the one column contains 10, so dapat the other column should contain 10. Ibig sabihin the number of observations should be the same for all. Okay, so we had an example before. We're creating here, quick review na lang to guys, no? You have 3 objects, N, S, B. This is a vector of numerical vector. This is a character
Sir,
vector.
di po naka-share yung screen.
Ay, sorry. Thank you for informing me.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so this was the RMD file we were working on last time. And just a quick review, guys, about data frame. Data frames are very important because it's one of the most used data structure. Tayo, guys, as Fin students, dalawa yung nagagamit natin kadalasan. It's an XTS or TS file, a time series, and a data frame file. Okay, so this is an example of a data frame file. So we create an object called DF, and then we coerce it into a data frame consisting of your N, your S, and your B. Yung kanina yung reports yung ginawa nyo, in-identify nyo yung C, dito nyo pinasok, no? Yung N is equal to, S is equal to, B is equal to. Pwede rin yun, or you can separate it, defining the objects. Okay, then we had an example of this before. Okay, this is our second example. We're creating an object called employee data. Okay, again, we want it to be a data frame. Tapos, ilang columns siya? Employee ID, employee name, salary, and then start date. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 columns, 4 variables. Yung una, guys, employee ID. So, ilan laman ito? Ilang laman, guys? Run if function, di ba? Nalala nyo? From 1,000 to 999. And then 10, number of observations, 10. Tapos ito naman, employee name, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 din siya. Tapos salary, 10 din siya. Start date, 10 din. So match siya, no? Match siya. So the same number of elements in your column. And then what did we say was strings as factors? Ano yung factors, guys? If you recall it right, ano yung factors? Kanina may gumamit sa inyo na strings as factors is equal to true. So, kailan natin ginagamit, guys, yung ano yung factors, guys? What are factors? These are character variables, okay, that can be used to classify, no? Or to group. Tingnan yung employee name, di ba character yan? Pero is it advisable to group them? Kunyari, lahat ng mga Rick, i-group natin. Lahat ng mga Dan, assuming na meron kasi pwedeng meron yun no? Yung employee name, pwedeng maraming Gary. Can we group them by Gary? Ibig sabihin lahat ng Gary, we can assign it a number 1. Lahat ng Pamela, we can assign it as a number 2. No? It doesn't make sense to do that. No? So yung employee name, that cannot be used as a factor. Ganun din guys yung start date. Okay? Although pwede kung kailan sila nagsimula, pero as date to no? So maybe not. Ano sabi natin? Ano example ng factors? Kung meron ditong let's say residents. So ang residence kunyari may Makati, may Manila, may Las Piñas, may Rizal, etc. That can be used as a factor, no? Kasi yung factor niyan pwedeng ma-classify siya. Okay, and then other examples guys, kunyari gender. Pwede gamitin as a factor 'yon, no? Okay. Pag as a factor, ilalagay lang natin dito na as that factor, yung particular variable niyan. Kunyari, gender to guys, ito example lang, we can make that as a factor by writing here as that factor and open parenthesis C. Okay, so that it becomes a factor. Okay, we did this last time, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was another example. And then we learned how to subset. Okay, we learned how to subset. Okay, then yung mga dates, guys, we'll have more of this example on a separate discussion. Okay, then we go to matrix. Okay, I didn't want to discuss this without you having watched the video first. So I'll just slowly browse through this, no? And then make sure, please, that by Thursday, by next meeting, sana nabasa nyo na yung sana napanood nyo na yung video, no? Ano na lang, medyo mag-i-invest tayo ng mga 1 hour and 20 minutes per video, so that makes around less than 3 hours. I suggest that when you follow the video, you work with the Excel file that comes with it. So I'm going to post that Excel file later. Okay, so just like when we want to create a list, di ba, naglalagay tayo ng name ng object tapos list. Pag data frame naman, data.frame. Pag matrix naman, we have to use this function matrix. Okay? So ano ibig sabihin nito? So here we're creating an object called A. Tapos we want it to be a matrix. Okay, so ang elements niya combine 2, 3, -2, 1, 2, 2. So there are 6 elements here. And then here we have 3 and 2. So let's first run this to see what happens. Ano yung nag-generate niya? Okay? Ano mag-generate nitong function na to? So let's see. This will automatically generate the function. Okay, take a look at this, guys. So this is a matrix. It's a combination of numbers, usually numbers, numeric. Okay, and it's arranged into rows and columns. So what's the meaning of this? Comma 1. If you recall, guys, pag subsetting, the first number is row. Okay, and the second number is your column. So this line here refers to blank yung row, ibig sabihin lahat ng rows, di ba? Row 1, row 2, row 3, and then this one, first column. So ito yung mga rows sa row row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2. On the other hand, this one, guys, is this line here, this column here is all the rows and second column. So itong object na to, itong 1 na to, this is row 1, column 2. This is row 2, column 2. And this is row 3, column 2. Yun ang ibig sabihin nun. Ito naman, ano ibig sabihin nito? Brackets or parent, 1, comma, blank. Ibig sabihin on this line, ito. Can you see what I'm pointing to, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this means this is your line, this is your row, this is row 1, and then, bakit walang number dito? Kasi it indicates that it's all the columns. So itong line na to, row 1 lang siya, pero lahat ng columns kasama. So this cell here, this element here, this 2 here, pertains to row 1, column 1. This element here pertains to row 1, column 2. So each element in a matrix has a position. Anong position ito? Number 3. This is row 2, kita mo dito, no? Row 2, and then column 1. Okay, clear yan, guys? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so paano sinulat ni R yung matrix? Ano yung default? Tingnan nyo, guys, 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. How did R write it? The first number here is your number of rows. The second is your number of columns. So 3 rows and 2 columns. And how did R write it? Ang default niya, guys, by row ang pagsulat niya. Okay? So dito pababa muna, actually by column. No? Sinulat niya muna, so sa column 1 muna, 2, 3, negative 2, and then 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. Okay, clear? It would have been different. Insert tayo dito. Copy natin to, guys. Control C, Control V. Let's create an object called A10. A10. Paano kung binago natin to? 2. And then 3. What happens, guys? I'm creating an object called A10. It also consists of the same elements, but this time the number of rows is 2, the number of columns is 3. See, take a look, guys. No? Pababa pa rin yung pagsulat ni R. 2, 3, and then negative 2, 1, and then 2, 2. Why is it writing it this way? Kasi we were imposing that it should be 2 rows, 2 dito, and 3 columns. Okay? Questions, guys? Questions? Any questions?
None, sir.
None,
Okay,
sir.
so that's okay. Thank you. That's how we generate a matrix, no? Kailangan sasabihin natin matrix siya. Okay, thank you, guys. All right. So we can ask the question: is that matrix A? Is A ba matrix? So we expect that to be true. Is that vector A? Okay, false. Hindi siya vector, guys. Remember, a vector is only one-dimensional. Ito two-dimensional to kasi may rows and columns tayo. Si vector, one-dimensional, either one row or one column. Okay? Ano dimension ni A, guys? Okay, si A is a 3 by 2 matrix. So this is the size of the matrix. So that's how you identify the size of a matrix. You first identify the number of rows and then the number of columns. All right. Itong guys, you can multiply a matrix by a scalar. Okay, let's identify C as 3. And then we can multiply C times A. Remember, A is a matrix, guys. Diba? Okay, sorry for the items here kasi kanina sa pin mode to, no? Okay, we were working on stocks. Hindi ko na-delete. So, asa na si A? Verse A. Dito, si A, guys, A, no? Okay, yung elements yan, numeric. Okay? And then we'd like to know, okay, can you multiply a scalar, which is just a number, with a vector? Enter. Okay, pwede ba, guys, C times A? Hindi ko pa pala nararun si C. Oh, sorry. Hindi ko pa nararun si C. Okay, so ngayon, may C na tayo. We have this object. Saan is si C? Why is C not here? Ayan, si C. No? And then, can we multiply C times A? Yes, guys. Ang mangyayari dyan, guys, if you're multiplying a matrix with a scalar, okay, pag sinabi scalar, it's just a number. All the elements will be multiplied with the scalar. No? Remember, ang laman ni A is 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. If you multiply everything by C, which is 3, then you just multiply it by 3. Okay? Alright, ito guys, mas makukuha nyo to dun sa video. Sana panoodin nyo para mas maintindihan natin to. Let's create another object called B. And this time, ang laman ni B, ito mga elements na to. Again guys, isusulat ni Arya na pababa. No? Okay, unless you want it written pa horizontally, okay, there's a way to do that. But let's just come up with B. So si B is a matrix which consists of 1, 4, negative 2. Okay, since it's 3 rows and 2 columns, isusulat ni R lagi pababa siya. 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, can you add matrix A and B? Yes. There's such a thing as matrix addition and matrix subtraction only if and only if they have the same size. They have the same dimension. So matrix A, ano size ni matrix A, guys? Ano dimension ni matrix A? What's the size of matrix A, guys? It is, guys.
Answer.
And by 2, that's 3 by 2. No? Pag matrix, ganun ang pagsabi ng size. 3 by 2. 3 rows and 2 columns. Si matrix B, ano size? Si matrix B, guys, ano size?
3 by 2 din.
3 by 2 din. Kita nyo naman dito, ano, si matrix B, 3 rows, 2 columns. So can we add them? Yes. We can add 2 matrices if they have the same sizes. Pero pag si A 3 by 2, si matrix B 4 by 3, hindi pa pwedeng i-add yun. Kailangan they should have the same, exactly the same sizes. So let's add A plus B. So you have this. Okay, this is now called matrix C, and it's accomplished by adding all the corresponding elements. Diba guys, each element in a matrix has their own corresponding address, no? Or cell position. So si element 1, 1 ni matrix A, i-add siya sa matrix 1, 1 ni matrix B. Okay, let's try to just look at that. So this is matrix B. Okay, ito si matrix B, ano? So let me print matrix A. Ito si matrix A, guys. Yung first element niya 2. Yung first element ni matrix B, 1. So i-add lang yan, 2 plus 1. That's why we get, yung C natin, 2 plus 1 should be 3. Huh? Okay, clear yan, guys? So that's very self-explanatory. Dapat similar addresses, similar elements, i-add lang yun. Pause muna ako. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so simple lang yung matrix addition. Ganon din, guys, yung matrix, matrix, ano ako dito? Here, FINTSAD. Matrix subtraction, ganon din. So you can only subtract matrices that have the same size. So you cannot subtract a 3 by 2 matrix with a 2 by 3 matrix. Hindi pa pwede yun. Mag-e-error tayo dun. Kailangan parehong size nila. So ito, D, we're creating an object called D, and it's determined by A minus B. So pwede yan. Okay, so the first element here is 1. Ibig sabihin, si matrix A, 2. Si matrix B, 1. So 2 minus 1, that gives us 1. So sinasubtract lang natin, no? And the order should be correct, no? Dapat matrix A muna minus matrix B. Kasi pag B minus A, opposite yung lalabas na signs. Okay. Ito guys yung medyo mabusisi ito, no? Mabusisi ito matrix multiplication. Kasi you just can't, yeah, let me just use this. You just can't multiply matrices. Okay, let me explain, even if you have not watched the video. So let's suppose you have matrix A. Explain ko lang po anong rule very quickly. Anong rule ng matrix multiplication? So you have matrix A, size niya 2 by 3. Pwede natin i-add yan, no? B, dapat 2 by 3 din. That's how you denote the size of the matrix. Naka-subset, naka-sub siya. No? 2 by 3, pwede rin A minus B, no? Pwede rin. Okay. So multiplication, guys, iba. If A is 2 by 3 and B is 2 by 3, okay, you cannot multiply that. Hindi pa pwede. No? Kasi may rule ang multiplication matrix. Sa matrix, guys, ganito mangyayari. A, sabihin natin, this is 2 by 3. Si B, 3 by 5. So ito pwede. Bakit? Remember, this is row, this is column. This is row by column. Ganun lagi yung dimension ng matrix, guys. Inuuna natin sabihin kung number of rows and then number of columns. So two matrices are multiplicable if the column of the first matrix is the same as the row of the second matrix. So pareho yan, guys. Pareho. So pwedeng i-multiply yan. Ito hindi pa pwede. Kasi 3 ito 2. Hindi pa pwede siya. Okay? And the resulting matrix is, let's call this matrix C, okay, which is equal to A times B. So pwede i-multiply yan. And ang resulting matrix is, ang size niya, 2 by 5. Okay? So two matrices are multiplicable if the column of the first matrix is the same as the row of the second matrix. So that's why, guys, hindi pa pwede ang commutativity as far as matrix operations is concerned. So pwede ba natin i-multiply si B, 3 by 5, times A, which is 2 by 3. So B times A, pwede, guys, o hindi? Pwede? Answer, please. Hello, pwede ba?
B times A, sir?
Oo, B times A, pwede ba?
No po.
Ha?
No po.
Bakit no?
Hindi po match yung 5 and 2.
Correct. Dapat yung column ng second matrix should be the same. Dapat equal yan. Pag hindi equal yan, oops, not multiplicable. So there's no such thing as commutativity in matrix multiplication. Commutativity in matrix addition pa pwede. Kasi A plus B is just the same as B plus A. Pareho lang yan. Pareho sila. Pero yung A times B is not necessarily equal to B times A. Oftentimes nga hindi pa pwedeng gano'n. One may be multiplicable and the other hindi pa pwede. Okay, so please watch the video in Excel para alam nyo yung manual na pag-compute ng matrix multiplication. Okay, I won't discuss that anymore. Ang titingnan lang natin ito, guys. No? So si matrix E, ang laman niya, so we have here matrix E, 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. So it's a 3 by 2 matrix. Si F naman, okay, 2, negative 2, etc. So question, multiplicable ba itong matrix na to? Si E is 3 by 2, si F is 2 by 3. Multiplicable, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, kasi yung column ng first matrix, which is 2, is the same as the row of the second matrix. Pareho silang 2. What will be the size of the resultant matrix, guys? Ano yung size ng resultant matrix?
3 by 3.
3 by 3, correct, no? Yung outer, yung outer sizes, no? 3 by 3. Okay, how about F times E? Pwede ba? F times E. Si F, what's the size of F? F is 3 by 2, di ba? And then E is, sorry, si F is
There's 2 by 3 po.
2
2
by
by 3,
3,
sorry,
sir.
correct. So 2 by 3 to. Thank you. And then this one, this is 2 by 3. And then F is 2, Okay, yung tinatanong natin, F times E, ano? E naman, E is 3 by 2. Okay. Take a look at this, guys. Multiplicable ba sila? F times E? Yes. Pwede, no? Kasi 3 at saka 3 pareho. Kaso, ano resultant size?
2 by 2.
2 by 2, correct. So you see here, guys, kanina, what's E? E is 3 by 2. And then F is 2 by 3. So, multiplicable ba to? Yes. Pero ang resultant size ng E times F is 3 by 3. Diba? 3 by 3 yung resultant size ni E times F. Pero si F times E, 2 by 2. So magkaiba matrix sila. No? We're talking of two different matrices. So gawin natin dito, no, sa R. Pwede din natin magawa sa Excel yan. Pero once again, guys, I request you to please view the video para alam nyo rin kung paano ginagawa sa Excel. Pero ang focus natin talaga, it's more of sorry? Questions? Okay, so i-generate natin itong si matrix E and F. Control Enter. Okay, so this is matrix E, which is, ano si matrix E? 3 by 2. Yan, 3 by 2 to, no? Tapos si matrix
So, 3 rows. So, rows yung una.
Oo, 3 rows, no? By 2 columns, 3 by 2. Si F naman, 2 by 3. 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so let's see, guys, kung mamultiply natin sila. So let's start with F by E. F times E. We know that the resultant size should be 2 by 2, di ba? Kanina, tinignan natin. So let's create an object called G. And i-print na natin by this parenthesis. Enter. Yan. Tingnan nyo, guys, si G is a 2 by 2 matrix. As expected. And H is a 3 by 3 matrix. So how to get this manually, yung mga elements na yan, kindly watch that video na lang. Okay? So, hindi naman siya kailangan class ma-memorize yun. Ang importante lang yung concept behind how this is computed. Kasi hindi na naman natin kailangan yung manual yan, manual of computation, kasi pwede naman natin ma-compute yan either in Excel or in R. So let's take a look at column, your H naman. Okay, so this is matrix H. This is matrix H. So it's a 3 by 3 matrix. There. 3 by 3 matrix. Okay? So you can do addition, subtraction, multiplication. There is no such thing as division in matrices. Walang matrix division, guys. Kaya hindi natin i-discuss. Okay, so let's take a look at the another function of a matrix is the transpose. Ano yung transpose of a matrix? Yung transpose of a matrix, guys, binabaliktad natin. Yung rows nagiging column. So this is matrix A. Itong column natin, 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. Pag transpose natin yan, itong first column na to magiging first row na yan. Okay, so this 3 by 2 matrix will become a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay, 3 by 2, pag transpose natin, magiging 3 by 2, magiging 2 by 3. 2 by 3 matrix. 2 rows and 3 columns. So how do we get the transpose of a matrix? Okay, we just use the function T. Okay, so we're creating an object here, A transpose, which is just the T of A. or the transpose of A. Let's run this. Okay, so tinan nyo nangyari guys sa ano, sa transpose of matrix A. Yung kaninang column to, naging row na siya. Okay, so let's get the dimension of, of 80, the object 80, it's now a 2 by 3. Ang dimension A, 3 by 2. Okay, so again, we're creating an object here, A transpose transpose. So pag transpose natin si A transpose, babalik siya sa A. Oh, ito na yung A. Original na. Pag transpose natin yung transpose, we just get the matrix itself. Okay, so let's, it's almost time. I have 1 minute na lang. So, ito na lang guys. Ano yung unit vector? What's a unit vector? So I'm creating a matrix called U, matrix 1, 3, 1. Kaya anong ibig sabihin ito guys? Ano ibig sabihin ito? 1, 3, 1. If we run this, guys, what do you get?
For 1 column, 3 rows.
Okay. 1, object na 1, tapos ilang rows?
3 po, sir.
3 rows and 1 column. Remember guys, yung matrix function, tatlo yan, no? Yung elements niya, yung number of rows and number of columns. So ito we're saying, matrix of 1, tapos 3 rows and 1 column. So lahat 1 lang. And then let's take a look at the zero matrix. Ito, zero vector. Okay, isa lang siya, 0 lang lahat naman yan. 3 rows, 3 columns. Let's run that. So yan. Okay. So sa matrix function guys, yung unang number yung elements, yung pangalang number of rows, pangatlo number of columns. Okay, so all right, so it's time guys. So next meeting, itutuloy natin tong ano, we'll finish this. Okay, yung diagonal matrix, identity matrix, symmetric, inverse of a matrix, determinant of a matrix, and then concatenation. Okay, so mahaba-haba din yan. But next meeting, maybe we'll have an exercise, and then let's see if we'll be able to start with ggplot 2. Okay, so medyo simulan nyo na guys na pupunta na tayo sa pinaka-body ng ano natin, ng subject natin, which are functions, data visualization, ggplot 2. We're going to learn how to plot data using that object ggplot2. Okay, are there any questions, guys?
None, sir.
All right, so I'll upload this video. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your reports, guys. Magka-create ako ng assignment, din yung ipasok yung ano, so that you know your grades. Okay, so I'll stop the recording of this. Okay, for